The 7-year rule for IHT increasing to 10 years. Talk us through that. Shall I do that?
Yeah, Marti, for away.
Okay. So this one is where at the moment you have the ability to make a gift to someone, usually money, for example, and there isn't a cap on that. Assuming or providing that you live for 7 years from making that gift, that would fall out of your estate for inheritance tax purposes. So it's a brilliant way of sort of getting excess cash out of your estate to children, to whoever you want to gift it to. The talk is that 7 years may increase. And the most common increase I've seen is 10 years.
Right.
So I don't know how, that's necessarily going to work. At the moment, we've got like a taper. So if you survive the first 3 years from the 4th year to the 7th year, it tapers out of your estate for inheritance tax. So it would be interesting to see what they would do with any taper if it was on 10 years, whether it would be between 5 and 10 years, 6 and 10 years.
Or even if they just remove tapering.
Exactly. That could well go. So I think it would have a pretty big effect on people because a lot of people rely on that ability to make those gifts and for it to fall out of the estate.
Yeah, I mean, they're factoring that period in when they're making these decisions and their tax planning for their estate. If suddenly, psychologically, you go from 7 to 10, it just increases that unknown period. So it just makes it very hard to predict with any certainty at all, but it's quite difficult with the 7 as it is. To add an additional 3 years potentially onto that just adds to the uncertainty around the decision of gifting these assets or cash out of your estate.
I think you're right. It's already tricky with 7 years. So to add anything on.
But 7 years almost feels a bit more manageable.
Yeah.
10 years is a decade.
Yeah.
That feels like a long time. And I'm not there yet. But, when you do start getting into, your 60s, your 70s, suddenly 10 years feels like quite a big gamble.
Yeah.
And
that is the age that most
like?
people actually want to start making those gifts.
Exactly. And that's that time where actually, the amount of cash that they're having maybe should be distributed or they want to distribute, or their children or grandchildren are at a time in their life where actually a big, wad of cash might be really significant.
Exactly.
Like if they're going to university, if they're going travelling, buying houses, getting married, doing those big life moments where they want to actually help.
Yeah.
It's then, what burden do you put on the people that are then getting
Exactly.
And unfortunately, quite a lot of us aren't in the position until we get to that age to
Precisely.
have
That's the other thing.
Excess assets to gift away. When potentially your costs may start to fall and you have that extra money sitting around that you've got the ability to gift it. And unfortunately, until you get to that point, this, if it came in, would just make that very difficult to be totally excluded from the estate. The chances are that it makes it far more likely that it's going to get caught in some respect. And so, like you say, I can see it having a big effect on a lot of people.
I think people that are not that organised or not that tax efficiently minded, it then becomes it's all too late. So I think there is going to be a stickiness here of actually what is going to happen. How does that look, and what should people be doing?
Yeah. Exactly. And it's so difficult because it's all speculation, as you said at the start. So it is incredibly difficult to know, what will happen and what you can do. I mean, the thing that we never know is whether any of these changes will come in from the day of the budget or from the new tax year.
Yeah.
So obviously there has been talk, if you're thinking of making a gift, potentially
make it now.
Yeah.
Make it now while you can.
Exactly. Just in case, some of these things do come in from the budget. It's unlikely, almost unprecedented, that HMRC make things retrospective.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's
I think unusual. Also, just while we're just discussing, tax and policy change in general, is, you have people that once upon a time would go, oh, well, that's highly unlikely. I remember coming out of COVID, someone saying to me, inheritance tax for farmers, no, that's never going to, agricultural relief, no, they would never touch that. And a few years later, here we are.
Exactly.
So, never say
Nothing's
never.
off the table.
Exactly.